Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with our relationship system. Welcome back, Narrative Pro people. And if you're not from Narrative Pro, I hope you enjoy seeing what Narrative Pro is capable of, because this is exclusively for Narrative Pro users. In the last episode, we confirmed that the functionality was working as intended. Now, obviously we don't want to have to come into the game and hit zero to spawn spawn a relationship stuff and all that jazz. So we're going to make sure we don't need to. And luckily, Narrative Pro has some really cool functionality set up in their NPC controller. So what everybody here needs to do is create, if you haven't already, you need your own controller. Let's see, believe I have it here, Narrative Pro. Yes, characters, NPCs, right here in NPCs. So I've created my own. Obviously, you should know how to do it by now. Go to Blueprints and look for their BP Narrative NPC controller when you're making your own. Now, we are going to override a function. That function is called greet check. We also need the viewed character. So the controller, and that's what causes the head to rotate when you're looking at the when you're within the NPC's sight. So if I'm come here, if we watch him, him, the head was following, then it's not following, then it's not. So that's what we're playing with here. So go ahead and override the greet check, and sorry, I wanted to verify and confirm that everything worked. What we need to do is right here. We need to get the controlled NPC from, just search for controlled NPC. And from there, get the definition. And from there, we need to allow multiple instances. We want this to be false. And here's why. Obviously, we're going to have NPCs that are duplicated everywhere, and we don't want to have a relationship with Bandit 1, who we're never going to see again. More so with Bandit 57. So we only want unique NPCs to be saved. So you want to make sure that you have that checked. That way, it will only try to add it. So if we go ahead and do this, plug that in. Obviously, you can do a print string and confirm that it's working. If we come over here to my example of Frank, we have the allow multiple instances turned off, so we have a unique GUID. So that is important to make sure that you have set correctly. Now, the next thing we have to do is to get our relationship component. And that's super easy. With a viewed character, you can just get a normal get controller. And because our controller has this function, it will work. Obviously, if you wanted to, you can do an isValid just to make sure that it's there. But you're making your own game with your own system. You shouldn't need that isValid. From there, we need to go ahead and add the relationship. But before we do that, we need to check. No, I don't remember what it's called. We have the does relationship exist? Do I have that? Okay, it can be used. Perfect. So we come back into our controller. Does relationship exist? So this needs our NPC definition here. Interestingly enough, it's just asking for any of them. So that's a bug. We're going to go ahead and fix that now, because this needs to be my NPC definition. Obviously, it would still work regardless. However, if at some point we need this more information that's within our what's the word I'm looking for? An hour definition in this specific function. Now we have it. Not that we would actually need it, as far as I know at this time. So this needs hours. We could hard code Frank in there, but then it's not modular. Luckily, we have this right here. So if we copy and paste, actually, let's be smart about this. Let's make this good and clean. If it's true, we want to promote to local variable, local NPC definition. No, wrong one. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly with you guys. What we need to do is get NPC definition. There we go. And before we do anything, we're going to make sure that this is working. We're going to come over here. We're going to bring this down. Print string. Get NPC name. Plug that into there. Let's make sure that we are, in fact, getting it. Yep, NPC Frank 2. All right. Now that we know for a fact that we have gotten it, let's close that. Now we promote to a local variable. Local NPC. And we grab that. And the next thing that we're going to do is check to see if they exist. Branch. Let's actually print string. Let's confirm that this is working correctly. We'll hit play. False. Doesn't exist. So now that we know that they don't exist, we can go ahead and make them exist. So that we're not having a whole bunch of strings, we'll branch out. We'll do another local variable, local relationship component. Reference. Okay. We'll set this. We can close out of that. They don't exist, so now we need to create them. Well, we need to add them. So we add relationship. And we need a couple of things. And we have those couple of things. We have the local NPC right there. And we have the viewed character right there. Isn't that just lovely? And we now have added them through an event instead of hard coding anything. Now, obviously, if you wanted there to be a value added in this instance, you would need to figure out some modular math for yourself. Because I do all of the addition of everything in the player definition or in the NPC definition within the relationship component, this isn't strictly needed. This is mostly there for those rare cases where we have them added and they are of the same guild. So we could always check that and make sure. Now, we don't want to always go through all of this every single time. That's redundant and can be quite frustrating. So what we need to do is check on something here so that we don't have to wind up um, trying doing this all the time. However, now that I think on it, uh, we do want to keep it just like this. So first we check that, we make sure, we check, does the relationship exist? We want that on false, not true. Now if it does exist, then we need to do something else. We need to do this, copy and paste, get relationship. And the reason we want this is because maybe, just maybe, since the last time we saw this NPC, um, the tag that they have has been reset. So we come here to local NPC, copy, paste, and we do relationship, set relationship and NPC definition. Oh, wrong one. An NPC definition, message received. And then we place that in there. That way, when we start on dialogue, it'll automatically utilize the correct dialogue on the NPC's part. Compile and save. And we, I think, are pretty much good to go. Let me pause and confirm and make sure, and then we can continue on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make sure we play it safe as well. And we will get a branch right here. We want to make sure that this happens, and I can't guarantee that in every instance that this will work as it should. So we'll go ahead and get this set up just like this. It's not found. Print string. Relationship not found. Sorry for the cough. But now everything should be working, and we're going to confirm that. So let's get another print string here. Actually, let's be smart. Let's come in here to the controller because we've already done this. We copy this right here. Paste it. Plug that in. We need our local relationship component reference. Compile and save. Now let's go ahead and do this. We want to make sure that it works. All right. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to see if I can get my code from this point to no longer update. Actually, no, I need it to update. Never mind. Because if you're stealing or if you're killing somebody in front of somebody or anything and they see it, we need it to update. So we don't want to stop this. So this is something that has to happen frequently. That's just in this instance. Now we could, if we find that the optimization is poor, we could in fact actually make it to where when an action is done, we check to see if they're being viewed, and if they are, find that NPC and then do this top bit of code. But for now, not worried about it. If it's something that we need to clean up, it's something we can clean up later. So now I can delete that because I know they are there. Compile and save. Let it play again. So now if I hit 0, it's going to show me the number 0, but obviously they're there. So we're seeing that they're there. Now they're 12. So everything is working as intended. Now we have a few more things to make. I am going to help you make a condition, an event, and a task. And when we get those three things completed, you should have everything basic that is needed for the relationship system with Narrative Pro. Now, obviously, this doesn't cover all use case scenarios. If there's something you're trying to figure out how to achieve with the relationship system that goes along with the dialogues and the quests, please feel free to reach out to me either through YouTube, my Discord channel, or through the Narrative Pro Discord channel where my name is Primal. So let's go ahead and get everything created. So the first thing we're going to make is the condition. So let's open up this content drawer, and we're going to go to Systems, Relationships. Yeah, we'll. No, we're going to keep everything dialogue. See, the problem is that events can be used in quests as well. So yeah, we'll keep everything in here, and I'm gonna type tails, and then we'll do. No, we don't need the extra folder. Delete. So let's go ahead and create a condition. Narrative condition, and I'm gonna name it NC underscore has relationship tag. We're gonna open this up. And obviously this is all we are currently going to see. We need to override both of these functions here. So first we'll do the check condition, because we want to make sure that we have everything set up how we would like. Based off my image, that should be enough. So first we need to get the NPC targets. This is critical and important. Make sure you remember this. Because this is how we set things up for NPC to the player. Not player, not player to NPC. So we just need to know the NPC stuff. For each loop, got that here. And we want to pull out of here, get NPC definition. And we want to then get the relationship with player. We want to confirm that it equals something else. So we will pull out of here and type, well, we don't need to type, promote to variable, and we'll call this relationship to player. Make sure that it can be seen. I'm going to add it to the category of relationship. We'll put an S. Hold down the B for a branch. And we are technically good to go. However, something that I just realized, what if we have multiple of them? So we would just want to see if any of the NPCs that are part of it like us. Or, you know what I mean. So we want to make sure that any of them are happen. So let's go ahead and do that. If it's true, we need to have an array of bools. This can be hidden, so let's make it private. And again, we will make it an array. So come over here. We'll do add. Add that bool. And actually, to be even safer, let's in fact make this a little bit different. We're going to make this our NPC definition. Come on. We'll do this, and we will make this a map, and we will make that a bool. Still private, compile and save. So what we'll do is, no, not add, well, just not there. It's in utilities, map, add. We will add this guy and this guy to it. This way, if you want any of them to be true, you can. I did originally have this for only one NPC, but why not? Once it's complete, we will come over here, keys, for each loop. And sorry, I'm working this out in my mind as we go. Here's what we'll do. Find, just like that. That way, if any of them are true, it can continue. Now, this isn't the most elegant solution. And the reason I say that is because this is going to check to see if anyone in the group likes the player. Then the nice option will, then that option will be picked. That's not always the most ideal, but it could work. Now, if you want to use it the way that I intended it when I made it, then you would, instead of doing all of this, which I'm not going to have, we delete all that, and we mark it as true. Obviously, if you're wanting it to check, it's complicated. So we're gonna keep it simple. If you want to dive deeper into more complicated situations, you can. Like I said, if I can help you, I will. So let's go ahead and I don't even know what this is. That awesome. Good to know. The next thing we need to do is to override this. We're overriding this final function here. And I'm going to choose format. Oh, that's right. I need to right click, format text. Plug it in that way. Then what we will do is pull out this tag. Tag to what? Oh, tag name. And then we need to format this. So we will say checks if NPC has gameplay tag, curly bracket tag, curly bracket. There we go. We are good to go. So compile and save. The next one that we will make is the event. So let's go ahead and do that now. Content browser, right click, narrative, narrative event, and we'll do NE. This one was called relationships influence. Now this one is a bit extensive, so I'll show you what we need to do, and then for the next 5 of them you can copy and paste it yourself. I'll pause it and it'll just jump to being done because there's a lot of copy and paste to get the extensiveness of like Dragon Age or Mass Effect, where you could have them going anywhere from greatly approved to greatly disapproved, having everything in the middle. So the first thing we need to do is override execute event. What we want to do is from the controller get relationship component. Isn't that just dandy? And then of course we will promote to variable. I'm just going to keep it named as is. Then we will come over here and we will cast to narrative player. Oh, before we cast, get controlled pawn, which gives you just a player character. And now we cast to narrative player character. For those of you who are new and have heard that casting is really bad and you shouldn't cast, this cast costs us nothing because our character is already loaded into memory. So doesn't really matter. If you wanted to create a blueprint interface for the, create a function within our relationship interface to get the character, you could. To me, it doesn't really matter. Now we will pull out of here and promote to variable, and I will just leave it named. And then from that point, we will get the NPC targets, do a for each loop. That way we do it for all of the NPCs. That way if you have companions or there's other people there, this will happen with all of them. So let's promote to variable, NPC. And now we need to create an enumeration. This will allow us to have our own unique switch so that we can control how the data works. So let's come back down here into relationships, new folder, enumeration, or I'm just going to call it enums, shorter. And if you go to blueprint, you will see enumeration. So we're going to name this E underscore, let's see. What did I name this? I can't remember what I named it. 1 second. I named mine E underscore relationship influence. Really easy. Really super easy. So let's go ahead and open it up. And, whew, you guys almost got a loud sneeze in your face. And we need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. I stopped counting. So 5. There we go. So 0 to 5. And you don't have to have this many. You can also name them whatever you want. Just know that we're going to use this display name to help create the notification so that we don't have to hard code anything. So full heartedly disapproves, greatly disapproves, disapproves, approves, greatly approves, and greatly, no, not again, and full heartedly approves. There we go. We have our enumeration. So we're going to come back into here and we will now go ahead and set that up. So the next thing we need to do is create a new variable. I do believe I have some information that's missing from here. So I named mine. There we go. We'll hit the plus sign here. And we're going to call this, where was it? There we go. Nope, that's the influence. All right. We're going to create the base relationship value first. And that is an integer. Make sure that that can be viewed. We need these to be private. We don't need to see them. And then found it. Now we need to create one more called NPC opinion. And we will name it. Oh, we'll not name it, but we need to get my NPC definition. We need this to be viewable, and we will make this a map. And our new enumeration is what will be in there. E relationships influence. Compile and save. So if I open it up, they're able, we can choose the NPC. My goodness. And then whether they approve or disapprove. Perfect. Now we come back over here into the graph, pull in this variable, and search for find. And we will get this NPC. Oh, there's something wrong right there. Give me a moment. All right, so I forgot. I don't need to have it like that. So what we will do is come to this variable here, and it just needs to be NPC definition. Change variable type. I should have just removed it all. It's fine. For some reason now it needs to search all my blueprints for the one place that this is at, which is right here. So in the future, when you have to change a variable and it's the only place that is there, just remove it from the graph and then change it. Yeah, I know there's no results found. There we go. And there we go. So now that we have this, we need to create a switch. So if we type in switch, we're going to get this beautiful node. This allows us to completely and totally control the flow of the data. And we have a crap ton of options. So I am going to, like I said, do one of these with you. Then I'll pause it and get the rest of them done. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get our relationship component and search for update relationship. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in right there and open this up. Next thing we need to get is the narrative player character. And finally, we need to get our NPC, which isn't plugging in. Okay, 1 second. And again, I did it again. I chose my NPC definition instead of the regular NPC definition. Which is fine. Hit compile and save. If I'm correct, everything in the controller should still be working. Yes. Perfect. So we will go ahead and head back into the relationship here. And now our NPC can connect. Now then, for the part that makes the most sense. Obviously, we need this to be as modular as possible. However, there is some hard coding in this. Obviously, if you wanted to change the extremeness of it, you could create a variable for it so that you could control it that way. But that's not what I'm doing whatsoever. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting that base relationship value, and I'm going to multiply it by -3 because this is greatly disapproved. So if they disapprove of what's going on, I want to make sure, if they full-heartedly disapprove, I want to make sure that it influences their relationship towards you more. So this right here needs to be done 5 more times. For the greatly disapprove, it's -2. For approve, it's 1. Disapprove is -1. Greatly approve is 2. You get what I'm saying. So I will be right back. All right. So this is what you should have now. So we have -3, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3. This way, it goes through each NPC that you want this response to influence, and shows how much they'll be influenced by it. Now, the last thing we want to do in here is to put up a notification. Luckily, Narrative Pro has a notification system. So we're going to go ahead and plug it all in. So first, let's search for show narrative HUD notification. And I'm going to plug one of them in just so that I can get this and put it right there. I'm going to plug them all into it because with how we have set everything up, the message can be very easily modular. So first, get a format text. In the format text, we want to type in the curly bracket name and then a space, and we'll do another curly bracket, call it approval. Once we hit enter, we have name and approval right there. So what we need to do now is we pull in the NPC and we type NPC name to get that. Then for the approval, we get the NPC opinion. Oops. Find. Plug that in right there. Clean this up. Just like that. And then we can get enum to string. There we go. And now everything is set up. So now it will modularly find which the NPC and its how it was affected and notify us of the change. Now, lastly, I know this video has been long and I do apologize for it, but we are almost done. We need to create the task. That way you can make it to where I'm sure you've played games where there's a quest where it says that you need to have X NPC have X type of relationship opinion towards you. And that's what this task is. So let's go ahead into the content drawer. We'll come back over here to Tails, narrative task. So I'm going to call it NT for narrative task, and relationship goal is what I am calling it. Now there's a couple things that we need to do, a couple of events that we need to override. So we'll go to begin task. We'll right click, add call to parent function. Because I still want all that stuff to happen, whatever they have coded, just in case there's something. And we want to get the owning pawn. Now the owning pawn, because this is Narrative Tails is part of Narrative Pro, but it's not exclusively for Narrative Pro, so this just gives us the pawn. Not the narrative player character, which is what we need. So we'll now do cast to narrative. Where is it? Narrative player character. My eyes just weren't wanting to find it. Now we will create a variable for it. Next, we will get the owning controller and get relationship component. And then create a variable for that as well. Now we do this at the beginning so that we're not having to constantly get these every tick. We have it. We're now going to do a tick task. Now this isn't like a normal tick. We have complete and total control over this tick. So if we go into class settings, not class settings, class defaults, tick intervals. I choose 0.2, but you can choose 0.5. You can choose to have it check every second. It's really up to you at the frequency in which you feel is best. But now this will tick off every 0.2 seconds, which is far more optimized than every frame. So now that we have that, we need to get the relationship component, pull out of it, and get relationship. And we need the player and then an NPC. So the player we already have. We can just grab that right now. The NPC, on the other hand, we need to create, which is fine. So before we do that, let's make these private so that we're not seeing them, because we don't need them. And we will pull out of here and promote to variable NPC. This we do want. and I will put it in relationships for the category. File and save. Now I'm wanting to make sure I've done that for all of these. They're not. Sorry. Oh, wait, that's private. That's fine. So this actually needs to be under hidden. Let me get the base value and the NPC option. Sorry, I realized it wasn't organized. So now I'm trying to fix that. This one is, so we're good to go. Okay. Sorry, wanted everything clean. The next thing we need to do is pull out of here equal, and obviously we need to promote to variable branch, just like that. And if it's true, complete the task. Now, the next thing we need to override is a function, not an event. And it's called get relationship description. So let's go ahead and where is it? Or maybe it's called task description. Let's find out. Yes, it is. Task description. So this is what the player will see. Format text. And what we need to do, set up a couple of things. First, we get the NPC. Oh, this needs to be named. Relationship required. We need to open it up and place it in relationships. We need to get the relationship required. And we need to get the NPC. For the NPC, we need to get their name. Now, the next thing we need to do is in this format text, we need to, I need to find a way to get curly bracket NPC, curly bracket to curly bracket relationship, curly bracket me. Enter. Now, put NPC there. And if we wanted to, we could just plug this in here and it would give us, relationship.hate or relationship.neutral. And we don't want that. So we need to create ourselves a variable. This one we will call tag to text. It is a private one. Doesn't need to be seen. We'll do gameplay tag. And it's going to be our most favorite map. And we will change this to, not a name, text. So once we've done that, now let's go ahead and compile and save, and we need to open this bad boy up, and we need to get our relationships made. So let's go ahead and get them all in here. Every single one. Whoops. So after dislike, it's hate, then hostile. Trying to speed things up a little bit here. Then after hostile, got like, which is then followed by love. Obviously, this isn't the actual order. This is just the naming order. Alphabetical order. There we go. We have neutral, and then respect. Perfect. So now we do the obvious thing here. This is admire, so admire. Despise. Dislike. Hate. Hostile. Like. Love. Neutral. Respect. Now we grab that. Find. And there we go. It is now 100% modular. And cleaned up. Compile and save. So that is all three of them. Let me jump into the other projects so that I can show you how I used them. That way we don't have to make this another 20 minutes by creating some dialogue and some quests and things like that. Okay, so here we are in my creation. This is where I'm creating all the add-ons for Narrative Pro. One thing before we do go into me showing you the quests and whatnot, there's one other thing that has to be done in the tasks if you want to be able to see them. What I mean by that is here in the tasks, I branch out and I have right here relationships. However, when you open up a quest, you won't see this. Well, depending on where you put it and if you've set this up already. So what needs to happen is you need to go into the project settings, come to the narrative quests editor, and here at the top you'll see quests has search paths, and this is where I put mine. You need to make sure you have the /game and then you end with a /. But you'll see that this path is, well, right here. Let me click on this. There we go. I come over here to my relationship. No, it's entails quests. Here's that very path. So game /Wonderscape Creations /systems /narrative pro tales quests. There it is. Once we have that, it'll now show up. The last thing you need to do is give it a blueprint category. The name and the description are optional, but because I like things organized, it's there. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into this. What's it called? Into this. We'll just say that, into this. The dialogue. There we go. So I have three of them right here. They're all essentially the same thing. We're proving whether they dislike, like, or neutral us. We come over here, I come on down to conditions. For the condition, part of the conditions that I've chosen, obviously I hit the plus sign, then found my has relationship tag, and then I choose only NPCs, and then I name that NPC. So I find the NPC that I'm wanting to do this with, and then I decide on whether they like, dislike, all that stuff. So for this condition, only use one. It's only ever going to search the first one that you have. If you're wanting to have a whole bunch and then having it check and doing a whole bunch of checks to make sure, go for it. Not going to stop you. But this is right now for the use of NPC to player. I don't have one that gives options based off of how the player feels about the NPC, but we could. You could very easily reverse it here. Just you need to keep it as one. there's a lot of possibilities. Like I said, if you find something that you want to do and you're struggling to figure it out, I don't mind trying to help, especially because it would just make my relationship system much better. The next thing is the events. So, depending on what the player says, will influence the person or people that are in the conversation. So, again, come down here to events, add the relationship influence event, and the NPC targets. Add all of them that you want. You can have as many NPCs as you want. Make sure it's only NPCs. And then come down here to relationships, choose a base value, and then make this map of all of the NPCs that are in this NPC target and choose how they will respond to this um, response that the player chooses. It's as simple as that. Obviously, once it's done, it'll notify the player that their relationships that they didn't like it that much. Now, as far as quests go, the task that we made. Here's the task. I made 2 of them. There was something that looked goofy right here. There we go. The task is very easy. So you choose what NPC you want to have to like you, and there you go. If you're wanting to complicate it and make it to where you can have an array of them, you can do that. You would just need to create an array of NPCs and then do a loop of it, and then once completed, complete task. That's completely and totally up to you. This would be a little more complicated at that point, but right now I have it set as 1 because then I can just add another event and select that NPC and add another event, so I don't have to have save yourself some work is all I'm saying. You can always just add a bunch of events that do the same thing for different NPCs. So that's it. That's everything. That's all the work that I did to make this possible. Now, again, remember this is just the very basic setup for it. I do plan on improving upon it. I did notice, especially the second time around, a bunch of repeated codes, so I'll wind up going through and cleaning that up to just make it more presentable and more professional. And as I add things, I'll add to this playlist so that you guys can have it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next series.